Imagine this for a second. You wake up in the morning, you grab your phone, and before you even get out of bed, you already feel tired. Not physically tired, but that strange kind of tired where your body just feels slow. So what do most people do? They go straight to the kitchen. Coffee. Toast. Maybe cereal. 2 hours later, you're hungry again. Then lunch comes. Then a snack. Then dinner. And by the end of the day, you've eaten 5, maybe 6 times. But here's the strange part. Despite eating all day, you still feel tired. Your energy crashes. And losing weight feels almost impossible. Now here's where things get interesting. Because some people are doing the exact opposite. Instead of eating 5 times a day, they eat once. Just one meal. No breakfast. No lunch. No snacks. Just one meal a day. And according to some studies, this can trigger a series of surprising changes inside your body. Your metabolism changes. Your hormones shift. Your body literally switches fuel sources. And what happens next is something most people never expect. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about how the human body actually works, and how we can improve our health in simple ways. If you're someone who wants to understand your body better, have more energy, and build healthier habits, make sure to subscribe, and give this video a like if it helps you. Because today, we're going to break down exactly what happens inside your body when you eat once a day. And trust me, some of these changes are pretty surprising. So let's start with something most people believe. For decades, we've been told something like this: eat small meals throughout the day to keep your metabolism active. Breakfast. Snack. Lunch. Snack. Dinner. 5 meals. Sometimes 6. But here's the thing. When scientists actually started studying metabolism, the story became a lot more complicated. According to research published in the Journal of Nutrition, meal frequency has far less impact on metabolism than most people think. In fact, your body doesn't turn off just because you skip a meal. Your metabolism doesn't suddenly crash. Your body is far smarter than that. Think of it like a hybrid car. A hybrid car can run on gasoline or electricity. And your body works in a very similar way. When food is available, your body uses glucose. But when food disappears for long enough, your body switches to another fuel source. Fat. And that switch is where things start getting really interesting. Alright. Let's walk through what actually happens. Imagine you eat a large meal at 7 p.m. A normal dinner. Maybe protein, vegetables, carbs. For the first 3 to 4 hours after eating, your body is in something called the fed state. This means your body is actively digesting food. Your insulin rises. Your blood sugar increases slightly. And your body uses the energy from that meal. This is completely normal. Nothing unusual here. But after about 4 hours, something begins to shift. Your insulin starts dropping. Your body finishes processing most of the available glucose. And now, your body has to decide something important. Where do I get my next source of energy? Now imagine you don't eat again. 6 hours pass. 8 hours. 10 hours. Around the 12-hour mark, your body begins to enter what scientists call the post-absorptive state. Which is just a complicated way of saying, your body starts looking for stored energy. First, it taps into glycogen. Glycogen is basically stored sugar in your liver and muscles. Think of it like a backup battery. And most people store about 1,600 to 2,000 calories of glycogen. Which means your body has a reserve. But here's what most people don't realize. That reserve eventually runs out. And when it does, your body activates a completely different metabolic system. Around 16 to 24 hours after your last meal, your body begins producing something called ketones. Ketones are molecules your body creates when it starts burning fat for fuel. This process is called ketosis. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't ketosis something only people on keto diets experience? Not exactly. The truth is, ketosis is a completely natural survival mechanism. Humans evolved for hundreds of thousands of years without constant food access. Sometimes our ancestors didn't eat for an entire day. Sometimes longer. So the body developed a backup system. When glucose disappears, fat becomes the primary fuel. And according to research from Harvard Medical School, this metabolic switch can improve insulin sensitivity and energy stability in some individuals. Which explains something interesting many people report. After the adjustment period, their energy actually becomes more stable. No crashes. No afternoon fatigue. Just steady energy. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. Because when you eat once a day, your hormones begin to change. One of the biggest changes involves insulin. Insulin is the hormone responsible for moving glucose into your cells. But when insulin stays elevated all day, which often happens when people eat constantly, the body can become resistant to it. This is called insulin resistance. And according to the CDC, insulin resistance is linked to conditions like type 2 diabetes, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. But when you extend the time between meals, insulin levels stay lower for longer periods. Which gives the body time to reset. This is one reason intermittent fasting has become such a popular topic in metabolic research. But here's what most people don't realize. The changes aren't just physical. They're also psychological. Now, maybe you're thinking something like this. There's no way I could only eat once a day. I'd be starving. And honestly, that's a completely reasonable thought. Because hunger feels powerful. But here's the surprising part. Hunger is not just about calories. It's also about habit. Your body releases a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is sometimes called the hunger hormone. And ghrelin follows patterns. If you normally eat lunch at 1 p.m., your body releases ghrelin at 1 p.m. Even if you ate a massive breakfast. But here's the interesting thing. Studies show ghrelin spikes come in waves, and if you don't eat, they often disappear after about 20 minutes. Which means hunger is often temporary. Not permanent. This is why many people who practice intermittent fasting report something surprising. After a few weeks, their hunger actually decreases. Because their body adapts. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because extended fasting triggers something called autophagy. Autophagy literally means self-cleaning. It's a cellular process where your body begins recycling damaged cells and proteins. Think of it like a repair crew inside your body. Old components get broken down and reused. This process was so important that in 2016, scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize for his research on autophagy. But autophagy doesn't activate immediately after skipping one meal. It usually increases after 16 to 24 hours without food. Which means longer fasting windows may give the body more opportunity to perform cellular maintenance. Now here's something that confuses a lot of people. You would expect that eating less frequently would make people feel weaker. Right? Less food, less energy. But in many cases, the opposite happens. Why? Because when your body becomes better at burning fat, your fuel supply becomes enormous. The average person carries around 80,000 to 100,000 calories of stored fat. Compare that to glycogen, which is only about 2,000 calories. So once your body adapts to using fat efficiently, energy can actually become more stable. No constant refueling required. Now let's pause for a second. Because it's important to say something here. Eating once a day is not automatically the best approach for everyone. Some people thrive on it. Others feel terrible. Athletes, pregnant women, people with certain medical conditions, should approach fasting very carefully. Health is not one size fits all. But the key takeaway is this. The body is far more flexible than most people realize. And understanding how it works gives you options. If someone does want to experiment with eating once a day, most experts recommend not jumping straight into it. Instead, people usually transition gradually. For example, start with 12 hours fasting. Then 14 hours. Then 16 hours. This approach is called time-restricted eating. And over time, some people naturally move toward one meal a day. The key is listening to your body. Hydration is important. Nutrient quality is critical. And your single meal must contain enough protein, healthy fats, micronutrients. Because one meal means that meal has to count. At the end of the day, your body is incredibly intelligent. It can run on glucose. It can run on fat. It can adapt to different eating patterns. The real problem isn't that people eat too often, or too rarely. The real problem is that most people never stop long enough to understand how their own body actually works. But once you learn the science, once you experiment carefully, once you start paying attention, you realize something powerful. Your health isn't just about what you eat. It's about how your body uses energy. And sometimes, changing when you eat can be just as important as what you eat. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Because on this channel, we break down complex health science into simple explanations, so you can make smarter decisions about your body. And trust me, there are a lot more surprising things your body does that most people never learn. See you in the next video.